DeGeneres is leaving America. Breaking news, no one f***ing cares. Before you think he didn't do it, he absolutely did it. Claim is that you live in an oppressive, colonialist, patriarchal, fascist dictatorship. If that's the case, you had to expect a little tear gas. Started from the bottom, now where's my hearing? Hello, welcome to Brief by Beat, and before I get going, please subscribe to this channel, and if you like the video, give it a like. Now, let's talk about the headlines that caught my eye this week. Ellen DeGeneres is leaving America. Breaking news, no one f***ing cares. People are saying that Ellen is leaving because of Trump, but that is not the case. Ellen wants to go to a country like England because it's rooted in a class system, and she wants to be in a place that when the help forgets to pick up her dry cleaning, she can throw a cup of hot tea directly in their face. Jussie Smollett's conviction was overturned, and before you think he didn't do it, he absolutely did it. After he was initially charged, a prosecutor that could only be described as sympathetic agreed to drop the charges against Smollet as long as he forfeited his $10,000 bond and did 16 hours of community service. He served hard time for 2 full working days at fellow race baiter Jesse Jackson's Human Rights Coalition. His service included talking to students about the music and film industry. But before you think he got off too easy, he also had to work in the store that was there and sell merch. So there you go, people who work retail. Your job, the thing you do every day, is a punishment for a rich guy who faked a hate crime. Ouch. But he did do the service, so he fulfilled his end of his bargain, which meant he wasn't allowed to be tried again. Fair is fair. There's another guy that they retried after making a deal with him and had to eventually let go. Yep, that guy. Yuck. And no one even kinda thinks that he didn't do it. So just remember that when Jussie Smollett talks about how vindicated he now is. He got off on a technicality. I think there's a few lessons to be taken away from this situation. Number 1, if you are going to commit a high-profile hate crime against yourself, make sure first that you are indeed high profile. It does not help your case when every time the story comes up, people go, who the fuck is this Jussie Smollett guy? Number 2, if you are a black guy and you are going to pay 2 people to commit this fake hate crime against you, don't pick 2 black people that you know. Branch out. If the world is as racist as you say it is, it should be very easy to find 2 white guys to scream, "This is MAGA country" at you and smack the cold cut combo out of your hand. And number 3, if you do pay 2 black guys that you know to stage a fake hate crime against you, fucking pay them. You staged a whole hate crime hoax in order to prove that black people in America are still treated badly, and the linchpin of your grift relied on coaxing 2 black people into slave labor. TikTok is banning users under 18 from using beauty filters that artificially enhance their appearance, claiming that studies prove that it sets an unrealistic standard for beauty and causes mental health issues. Don't worry, everybody over 18, you will still be able to continue lying your asses off. You can continue your existence of self-deceit, publishing videos that are obvious fabrications, taking a hard look at yourself in the mirror and seeing the shell of a human being that you've become, and crying yourself to sleep. The International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrants for Netanyahu and his former defense minister. Those who are celebrating this, though, are missing 50% of the story. They also issued warrants against a guy in Hamas, and the people that are ignoring that are either brainwashed into believing that Hamas are freedom fighters, or it might be the fact that that guy is almost certainly dead. The important point is, look at the timeline of both warrants. The warrants for Israel were issued for what happened from October 8th onward, and if you're only paying attention to that part, you are being dishonest. What happened right before October 8th that might have acted as a catalyst for everything that Israel has done since? It had to be something, I'm pretty sure. So a warrant has been issued against Hamas as well, and for everyone who has denied the claims of sexual assault against Israeli women during the October 7th attack, and since, as they were hostages, the ICC warrant includes gender-based sexual assault against Israeli women. And for the people that deny that Hamas uses civilians as shields, those are also included in the charges against Hamas. So for all of the people applauding these charges against Israel, you basically have to admit that you're full of shit. Either you accept the charges against both sides and you admit that you've been supporting child kidnapping, women raping, hide behind their own civilians cowards, and, stop supporting them, or you only look at the charges against Israel and admit that you don't really care about child kidnapping, woman raping, hide behind their own civilians cowards. Good luck at your gender studies exam. Drake is suing Universal Music Group, saying that they could have halted the release of Kendrick Lamar's song, Not Like Us. The best way to get back at someone who raps about you being a bitch is to sue them for making a mean song about you. Started from the bottom. Now where's my hearing? Alec Baldwin said in a recent interview that Americans have a very uninformed view of reality and only have an appetite for little bits of information. That may be true, Alec, but one of the little bits of information that Americans have is knowing when a gun is loaded. The world's oldest man dies at 112 years old. Cause of death? Rap music. There was a merging of protests in Montreal from anti-NATO, anti-colonial, and divest for Palestine groups. After they called for the end of colonization, claimed that Islam would triumph, lit several cars on fire, and left a path of destruction in their wake, they claimed that they were victims of police brutality when the police used chemical irritants to disperse the crowd. Stop LARPing as revolutionaries. You live in Canada. You take advantage of and directly benefit from the colonialism you claim to be against. I get it. You just want to feel like you have a greater purpose. You hear a couple ahistorical opinions that amp you up. You take to the streets, yell shit, break shit, burn shit. Then when the police come, you cry brutality, just like Che Guevara would have done. Your whole claim is that you live in an oppressive, colonialist, patriarchal, fascist dictatorship. If that's the case, you had to expect a little tear gas. In fact, people who live in oppressive dictatorships, when they stage an uprising, expect a lot more than tear gas. They're gonna get their fingernails pulled out. They don't sit in a holding cell for 3 hours waiting for daddy to come and post bail. Oh, and by the way, the group making the claim that the world will bear witness to the triumph of Islam is colonialism, you dumb f***s. Islam is a colonialist religion. In Canada, we should not put up with groups that say that the world will bear witness to the triumph of Islam. If you want to live in Montreal and go and see cool bands and art shows and enjoy universal human rights and eat poutine at 3 a.m. hammered, then cut the shit. And if you're one of the people who doesn't believe that extreme but does still want the war in Gaza to end, then I'm going to put it in words that you can clearly understand, because it's something that you use every single time a right-wing protest pops up. If you're part of a movement and you're standing shoulder to shoulder with people who are doing Nazi salutes and claiming that there needs to be a final solution against Jews, is that really a movement that you want to be associated with? That's it for Brief by Beaten this week. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you again next week.